Welcome to the Rebel Rise podcast, a place where values-driven founders on a mission for more come to connect, learn, and grow. Here, we celebrate the relentless spirit of leaders building businesses that create real good for their clients, communities, and the world. No subject is off limits, and every episode is designed to bring you clear strategy, steady leadership, and people-first operations you can actually sustain. Get ready to grow ethically, lead well, and build something that works without burning you out. Your impact journey begins right here. Let's go. So today I am joined by Ashley Beck, the creator and founder of Cosmic Hippie Beauty. Now, that's a non-traditional salon that she opened just over a year ago that's been quietly disrupting the beauty industry ever since. Hopefully it's going to be a lot louder here in the future. Ashley and I have known each other for over 16 years, and this goes all the way back to our restaurant days, which most of you know are not too far removed for me. But watching her evolution has been incredible. Ashley has built an immersive, almost ritual-like experience through celestial specials, award ceremonies, and unapologetically breaking trend rules. So you already know why she's here on this podcast. Her business has grown so fast that now she's expanding her business to start helping low-income ADHD creatives to build success in the beauty industry without burning themselves out or playing by someone else's rules. So everybody here who's listening, you know that we love all of these things. So naturally, she and I talk all the time. I had to bring her on the podcast. So I'm excited for you all to meet her. So welcome, Ashley.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes,
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. I'm so excited to chat on the record because we have so many great conversations without recording. And I think the last
Right.
time I saw you, we were like, dang it, we should have been recording this. This would have been such a good podcast.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to have a real conversation here with you. And I believe this is your first podcast that you've been
this is
on,
my
right?
first. I'm so excited and a little nervous, so hopefully I'm not too awkward. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. No, you're going to be so great. So start by, I know I mentioned like we've known each other for a really long time. So some of the stuff is just like natural to me, what I know about you. So I would love to have you just tell our audience a little bit about who you are. And then we'll get into the deep dive that is the beautiful Cosmic Hippie Beauty.
Well, my name is Ashley. I am the owner of Cosmic Hippie Beauty, but beyond that, I like to consider myself like a free spirit. I am a Cancer sign, so I am very loving. I just love all things colorful and, music, and I'm about the vibes. So that is what I wanted to incorporate in here. And as somebody who's always worked for corporations, because that's where I met you, I have just never felt like I belonged in those places. I never thought I could make it on my own, but after spending about 20 years working for somebody else, I couldn't do it anymore for my own mental health. So that is how, one manic panic breakdown ended up building this whole empire now.
Yeah, and this has been so fun to watch and see because you are in the beauty industry. And I know we're going to get into this, but there is so much cookie cutter sameness that happens in the beauty industry, not only with how like salon aesthetics look to how women who work in that industry look to how women who go for those services look, right? There's a lot of sameness. And you and I have talked about that. And that's something that I love about you. Like my style in general is a little bit plain Jane. For those of you guys watching the video version, you can see my nails are blue today, which is kind of crazy. She actually does my nails. So this is a little bit out of the ordinary
Vibe
for
right
me.
now.
But yeah, you've got a fun color on. And so I love that you naturally, because this is who you've always been. Like you've always been about the shimmer and the glitter and just the fun, bright colors. I mean, like truly, right? When we first met, this was mid 2010s.
Yeah, in our
Probably
early
before that.
20s. Yeah.
Yeah,
It would
like
have been, I
2009,
graduated beauty school in
2010-ish.
2012. So yeah, it would have been 2010. Yeah.
Something like that. So, I mean, those things were popular then, right? Like the purple eyeliner, the blue eyeliner, whatever, but it has really become something that is, to me, it's like a trademark of your style. And so
Yeah.
it's been so fun to just see you embrace that and continue to expand into that and show other women that it is okay to show up that way. You don't have to only do that for a special occasion or only, go to a rave and to look that way. So can
Right.
you talk a little bit about what it was like for you to try to fit in for a while and then just that aha moment that was like, you know what, screw this. I don't need to do this and I'm just going to go be myself.
Well, I think I've always been kind of chasing my own identity. I mean, I think back to like my early 20s and I was really poor. So finding your identity poor is really, really hard. Let's just put it that way. Like I would get a lot of hand-me-down clothes and, I wasn't really doing any self-care or anything. And so I don't think I was ever able to truly find myself. But then, as you get older and you start going through all the motions and everything, I just feel like in the last like 10 years, things have fallen into place. And it took a few traumatic events for me. I'm not going to lie. Like the road to like truly finding myself, came with a lot of like cutting out toxicity, not drinking alcohol anymore. Like I just wanted to make some really drastic life changes. And in doing that, that's how I discovered this new me. I bought my own style of clothes instead of wearing other people's. And after working for so many corporations that were always like, you need to look this way, or you need to wear all black scrubs, or, we're doing a photo shoot and you need to be in neutrals. Like your girl does not have any neutrals in her closet. And so that was actually the breaking point for me in 2023 or no, 2024, was I was trying to go to a photo shoot for a job I had worked, and she told me that I was going to stand out in the dress that I had picked. And it was the only thing I had that was kind of nude. It was sparkly, but I was like, I have orange and pink hair. So like to me, I already stood out against the girls. But when I was told that I couldn't wear it, that's when I was like, I need to find a place where I can feel safe in how I look and how I feel. I was sick of companies telling me I had to cut down my nails or I couldn't have a natural hair color, because the more I got told no, the more I wanted to do it. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's some defiant childhood thing, but I was like, I don't want to have to, form myself to something else that gives me nothing in return. So that's where we ended up here.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I think I remember when we worked together. So for context, we worked together at the one and only Joe's Crab Shack, which if you guys have ever been there, it's such a great time. But I remember, because I don't remember if you had ever shared what you wanted to do beyond bartending there, but I feel as though I remember you telling me that you wanted to go to beauty school, that you were considering doing it. And I don't think you did it right then. I think you kind of held out for a little while longer before you finally took the leap. And I remember thinking, again, this was back in the day before I had done any expansive work on myself. I was surprised by that, because you didn't fit that mold even then, right? Like I've already said, you look very much the same. And I was like, wow, it didn't occur to me that that was something that you were interested in. So this is kind of a similar question to what I just asked you, but I'm truly just curious for my own benefit, I guess, is like, was there any sort of like conflict in you when you started to be drawn to that and to feel like you wanted to do that, knowing you didn't necessarily look like everybody else? Or did that not come until later when you were actually in the industry?
Well, I knew I wanted to be in the beauty industry in high school, but I didn't get around to it until I worked in the restaurant. And that was solely because I decided I did not want to grow old and die at a restaurant. Like I was kind of over restaurant life at that point. But when I started in the beauty industry, I was very plain Jane. But even going to the cosmetology program, I had already started to branch out. Like I had started to dye my hair blonde, and then we went pink. And once I kind of did that first vivid hair color, like true vivid hair color, I feel like that's where I knew, okay, I like being loud. for me, it's kind of an ego thing and kind of like healing childhood trauma, but I feel kind of like animals or plants or anything else in nature. The most beautiful things are very in your face, you know, with colors and vibrancy. And I just kind of feel the more I started to invest into it, the happier I became in my own mental health. So,
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that because I think that's so powerful. There's a lot of people who never really venture out into this, right? And I think to some degree, I'm also guilty of it. And there's times where I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like I had you do like a fun color on me for Halloween with was it the foil that you put on there?
did we do the chrome on you? Didn't we do
Yeah, we
chrome? And
did
your nails were
chrome.
like popping. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had so many compliments and I was like, "Oh, this is so fun." And then of course I went back to my regular like nudes and blacks and just cuz for me like it makes sense. But I see the value in testing and trying those things because if you don't try them, how do you know? And sometimes too it only feels uncomfortable because you've never done it. It's the
Right.
same
Well,
as
you've never done it, and society standards kind of keep us isolated in this like cookie cutter clean box, I feel like. And not that anything's wrong with that. You know, I think the clean girl aesthetic, because that's been talked a lot about in the industry right now, but I think there is some value to it in a sense, but I also feel like individualism is way more important than how society should see us as people. You know, it should be about what makes you happy. I actually just did a video on this on my Instagram 2 days ago talking about how color knows no age, because that is talked about heavily. And as I get older, I hear it a lot from my clients as well about, oh, I'm too old to do this. I'm too old to do that. And that's where this is a safe space because I make it comfortable for them to understand that you can take a chance on it. And if you hate it, we don't have to do it again. Like there is no, you know, it's not like a tattoo where it's stuck on you forever, you know? So I try and make people feel comfortable because a lot of the times at nail salons, when you try and do something new, depending on where you go, they kind of give you some, you know, they kind of give you some heat, you know, they kind of give you a look or they say something, you know, snooty. And then you're like, okay, just kidding. I don't want to try. So that's not what this is about here. You know, this is, I think that every woman, when they find, you know, when they take a chance, just like you with the chrome, like it felt good to be acknowledged. And that's what I'm here to help with is like getting people to just like feel good in their own bodies. Cause I think that's what it's, you know, truly about.
Yeah, definitely being comfortable in your own body is a powerful skill. And I love that you are using it that way instead of saying, hey, fit into this cookie cutter mold. Like, let's just do all of the stiletto nails in nude because that's what's trending. I don't actually know if that's what's trending. You would know better
Yeah,
than
but
me,
you're pretty
but
close.
yeah, I mean, I feel like the nude, every time I pick out like a soft pink or a nude, you're like, yeah, that's trending. Like everybody wants that color right now, you know? And so I love that you encourage people to push the boundaries. And for those of you listening, if you didn't see the content she posted that she's referring to, this was about eyelash color, which I would love to get into because I know you're leaning more into the lash world, which I think is so fun and so exciting. But you had shown to people that it's not just like black lashes and these really fun, bright, glittery lashes, like streamers on your
Mhm.
eyes, but you also have like these fun neutrals that are like browns or a dark blue or a dark green, where it's like so subtle that you would only notice it if you're looking really close. So
Yes.
I, and that even for me, I was like, oh, maybe that's fun. Like, you know, and so
Yeah.
I just love that you are always telling people that there's options for them, right? Just again, just the same as like you deciding to start your business. That was another option for you, right? So you continue to lead by example in that way. So I want to move into lashes because
Okay.
I know you love to do nails. I come to you for nails, but I know that lashes is your true passion. I know it's where you get to really express yourself, and the lash industry is moving kind of in a more, I'll say like an alt way for lack of a better term, but a way where they're really standing out more so than nails. So you want to talk about
Yes.
that a little bit?
Well, it's crazy enough because I've been doing lashes for over 10 years now, but I've just recently discovered this because I was kind of stuck in my own hole too. So, you know, you started a corporation and they tell you to do it this way. And then I went out on my own, but I had only ever done it from a corporation standpoint. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of kept doing what I had been taught. And I think it was in this past year, I just decided that I wanted to dive more into the community. And then that's how I discovered this whole secondary community that was a part of it. Because I knew that colored lashes existed. I've been stocking up on this stuff for years. But the community itself is still newer, and that's what got me really excited, was just the fact of the nail industry is kind of locked in. You've got your heavy hitters, you've got your independents, but with the lash industry, especially the alt colored community, it's so small, and we're just all trying to find our voices right now, and just kind of like the education behind it, letting people know it's not always about drama. And I feel like a lot of times with lashes or with nails or even like a salon like myself, people see that and they're like, oh, I don't want it to be in your face, or I don't want caterpillars on my eyes or whatever. And for me, it's, well, if that's what you're getting, then that means the person that you're giving your money to is not listening to you at all. It's just I'm going to do whatever I want to do and you're going to give me your money. And I'm about education. So just like with that video, you have the aha moment, like, that is what I have been doing in the beauty industry since I pretty much started. I didn't know a lot at first, so I couldn't educate. But, even in the past couple years, my education, I just feel like it's such an important characteristic to give to clients. And, like involving myself in the community is how I'm able to like branch out more. Like, I have my nail friends in the community that I can kind of rely on now and talk to while I'm like isolated in this industry. And then I'm able to turn around and give even better experiences to my clients. Some of these girls have been with me for 10 years and it just gets better and better every time. And that's what gets me excited. There is no burnout. I don't feel exhausted with my job. I don't hate coming here. It's just like every day, like the juices are flowing. We're in our creative vibe right now, and it just feels really good.
So when you bring clients in, new clients, or even your clients that you just said have been with you for 10 years, are they coming to you seeking that the celestial experience that we talked about, the standout, fun, bright colors, funky, a little bit different? Or do you get a lot of people who are still kind of in that, I'm not sure if it's like okay if I branch out, and then you kind of show them the way? Is it a mix of both? Like what is that like for you?
So I I did this award ceremony where with my winners, I just did interviews on them. And it was so funny because the reoccurring theme, even though I wasn't asking them the same questions, I asked everybody different questions, but the reoccurring theme was that everybody kept saying how safe of a space this felt like. And I don't want to say it's the alt industry is safer, but I just want to say that they're more accepting of everybody. So it doesn't matter, you know, what gender you are, what issues you're going through. I have people that crash out at my table, but it's about the space and the environment. And I feel like that's why they find me. And that's why I curated the space that I wanted. This is the space that makes me happy. And I knew that people that would find me would also enjoy it. And so the ones that have seen me on Google and stuff, that's what they say. They see the space, they see my vibe, and it kind of creates instant trust, I feel like. So it's mostly people that seek me out that want the vibe. I have gotten a few referrals, I feel like, that kind of come in, but the thing is it's about the comfortability. I'm just here to make people feel better. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to shame you. It's just about like making people feel better than they walk it.
Tell me what it has been like as someone who, as you mentioned, is ADHD and start off low income to build this business, right? Because now you have seen so much growth, like you're getting ready to hit year two in just a few short months here. And so now not only are you looking for ways to expand Cosmic Hippie Beauty and your space, we've talked about that and kind of brainstormed on that a few times. But now you want to help other people who started like that too. So talk about your journey a little bit like that and what you would say to somebody who's listening to this right now who is in that position.
Well, teacher wise, I don't feel like I'm a really good teacher, but like a coach, I'm everybody's best cheerleader. And I have been trying to help people out for years, I've always been about the free advice. Like, I feel like community is the most important, and helping people out is like a good karmatic energy back my way. But at the same time, your girl is running a business. And so that's why I was like, okay, so maybe we turn this into something that, can actually pay my bills. And so I wanted to help people because I did this completely on my own. I had the support from donations from my peers and my friends and my clients, but that was it. There is no husband backing me. There are no parents, fronting me money. I literally took out a credit card and I was like, let's go. Like, we'll figure out the rest later, full steam ahead. It's kind of been chaotic, you know what I mean? I get really excited to do a whole bunch of different things, and then some stuff kind of falls to the wayside. So I like it in the sense of, being able to invest in my own education and everything now. But unfortunately, it's hard. It's hard going on this journey alone because then you have to do everything. So those interviews I did back in November, I haven't even posted yet. So, it's just a weird ebb and flow to, the day-to-day functions. It's just, I love it and I hate it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you started this, right, regardless of not having funds, you just made this decision like I'm really unhappy where I'm at. I know I can do this my way and I can do it better than anybody else. So I'm just going to say fuck it. I'm going to get the credit card and I'm just going to buy what I need to get started and see what happens. See what clients follow me,
Mhm.
see how this thing expands and just go for it.
So I had to make a few calculated risks because I've never wanted to take this plunge because I just felt like, it was too much responsibility personally. But I did pull my cards because, your girl is a little witchy, and my cards all told me full steam ahead. If I stay where I'm at and I'm stagnant, I'm going to be miserable. And so I kind of mapped it out who would follow me. I kind of started to put out my feelers to see who would follow me. And then, I had to dry run my finances, but even that first month of opening, it was still intense, and especially in this economy, it's still this weird ebb and flow in the beauty industry where, I still feel like I'm starting up right now, even though I've been established for over a year. But I don't know. I kind of feel like as a business, that's kind of how it goes. It's not just like an instant thing. So like in my head, I took out the credit card, I opened up and I was like, okay, and we're just going to settle right in. And then everything's going to just be how it is. And honestly, I just get so excited. I just keep changing things, keep adding it
Girl,
on.
I can
So
relate to that. Same.
it's been a fun journey, but it doesn't feel. I mean, I still feel like I'm in the startup phase, even though I'm not. You know what I mean? So I feel like that'll wear off here after I get close to year 2.
So, what is the advice you would give somebody who's listening right now that is like, oh man, I kind of want to do that, but I am terrified because they just heard you say exactly what process you went through. But if they had to take one first step, what would you tell them to start with first?
Well, I mean, it's going to be scary. If it's not scary, then you're not taking a risk. And that's what I had to tell myself. Financial risks are always scary. Let's be real here. It's kind of like going to the casino and gambling. My advice is to truly follow your heart, because that's what I had to get to. I had been up and down, back and forth for, since COVID, actually. COVID was when I decided maybe I did like to be an independent artist. Maybe I did want to do this myself. But COVID kind of rocked the beauty industry in a weird way where it became unstable. And so I was like, okay, I'll just work for somebody else because it's safe. Safety has its own price too. And the price was not worth the nervous breakdowns every night, having to work in a community I didn't feel like I was a part of. And so my advice is to truly follow your heart. If you have it in your gut, like you need to go and do something, you got to do it. You got to do it, you know? And that's where community comes into play. Like, could I do this 100% on my own? Maybe. But I feel like reaching out to my friends, my old coworkers. I even had friends that I've just made online that were donating to me. And that's when I realized that I was going to be successful, because I realized how much love I had. And it's just about reaching out to people, you know? It's just about putting out the same energy you want. So, yes, my answer is follow your heart.
Yeah. And the other thing that I took from that, if I can build off of your answer, is to build relationships and
Yes.
to lean on the ones that are existing, because no matter where you're at least this has been my experience, it sounds like it's yours as well, is you may be sitting on the other side, meaning the beginning stages, and wanting to do this and being scared to take a leap and not knowing that you actually have resources in front of you, because it may just feel like, oh, I don't have the money to do that. I've even felt like that, because starting a business is expensive. Like,
Yes.
regardless of what your income level is right now, if you're listening and you have not started a business, you all are feeling the same thing, like, oh, holy shit, this is going to be expensive. It just is, and you've got to take a leap. But what I also heard you say was that you leaned on people, you asked people for help, you asked people for advice. Or for me, like, I've borrowed supplies from people before, or like when I started the bar, I borrowed bartenders from other people. And so leaning on the network that you have, allowing yourself to be just a little bit vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't know everything, I don't have every resource that I need, and who in my network is somebody who can get me at least one of those things that I need, and then to continue to build new relationships with other people too.
Right. Well, and I mean, the rule of thumb is if you want to be your own boss, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you cannot do that sitting on your couch talking to nobody. I mean, the amount of time I spend on social media connecting to other people is disgusting. I actually forgot what it's like to have a social life right now. But a case in point with my lash friends and the network that I've created in the past 3 months, it has been huge. It has led me to huge opportunities right now. So, I mean, and that was one of like the first chapters I was planning on putting in my coaching book too, is about, you got to make friends. You got to network and talk to everybody. I mean, you and I kind of learned that being, servers and bartenders, like, you got to make the connections. You can't expect people just to magically show up and give you their money. You got to give them a reason to want to give them a reason to want to spend their money. So connections are important.
Yes, connections I feel like are key too, because even if you're not somebody who wants to build a business and you are just building a career, you inevitably know somebody. And I feel like we know people are about what I'm about to say, who get hired for a position just because they know the manager.
Mm-hmm.
They know the CEO, or they're friends with the owner's daughter or whatever, not because of their credentials. It has nothing to do oftentimes with the degree that they have or the certification. PS, certifications are important, so please don't just decide you're going to go and be a cosmetologist or a coach or any of that without any kind of specific training around it, right? But the point is to just go and do it, right?
Yeah.
Because and build those relationships, because you can also learn those same things, those same tricks and tools from somebody who's already done it.
Well, and entrepreneurs are always going to help entrepreneurs. It's kind of like this small business club, and I feel like it is small business against like big corporations now. So to double down, I feel like we should really all band together even more. And when you give your money and support to communities, it goes back into the communities. Whereas like when you give your money and support to places like Target and these Amazon and stuff, where does that go? That falls on deaf ears. So.
Yeah. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So she keeps talking about community, and you do such a good job, Ashley, of supporting your community. So you actually have a little shop inside of your salon that hosts all kinds of small businesses. You yourself shop small as well. So you want to talk a little bit about that and why you decided to do that? Why is that so important too? Because that's another really cool component of what you're doing.
Thank you. So the whole goal here was to kind of reflect everything that I feel in my life. So I kind of started this concept when I used to be a waitress, and that is I would never give something to somebody that I wouldn't personally eat myself. And I wanted my retail area and the stuff that I offer here to reflect that energy. So it kind of started off as chaos last year because obviously I didn't know what direction I was taking. And then one of my old lash clients was like, hey, I got this friend in New Jersey. She makes these soaps. And I was like, cool. And, you know, her name and her brand and just her how she represents her company and her beliefs and everything, we were very much on point. And so I started bringing those in. And then I started doing markets here and kind of talking to other vendors about collaborations. So I got a few of those in the works right now. And then my best friend, that is kind of like my co-partner in crime in this business, he actually helps me make all these plants that I sell in here now. And so I wanted everything to be intentional. Like nothing in here is going to be cliche. Nothing in here is going to be something that you could find out of Walmart. I truly feel like everything should be with intent. So I wanted everything in here to represent that.
And for those of you who can't see this version of the podcast, maybe you're just listening, you can't see her whole background, but it's all very bright and fun and black walls. There's all kinds of celestial stuff in there. The plants, she's talking about like planters. So you can buy plants that come with these beautiful plants, soaps, lotions, candles that you make yourself too. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Cuticle oil, lash wash, like you can literally come in here and not only be your full self. Also, one thing we love to do when we're in here is watch 90s movies.
Yes, yes,
Or
we do.
watching 90s or 2000s movies while we're getting it done. So I just want everybody to get like a really good feel now of what's all behind you, because you can't even see everything. So there's like always something fun to look at. You have a moon on your ceiling, right? It's a
I
light.
do.
Is it
Yeah,
actually a light? I've never paid
it
attention if it
is.
lights up.
Yeah, you can change it either warm or cool. And yeah, it's pretty bright when all the lights are off in here. It's definitely like I've shut off the main light and it's a whole vibe at night.
Yeah. So
Big
like you can come in here and
neons and colors and yeah, neons, colors, and plants, you know?
yeah, so it's just such a vibe, and not only can you come and get your nails done or your lashes done, she offers all kinds of other services as well, and you can just relax. So you watch movies, you laugh together, just have a fun vibe. Like for me, it reminds me of like being in high school. Like
Right.
it's like, because it's like so reminiscent of like how my bedroom looked, and I love it. I enjoy being in that space so much, and so I wanted to talk about that too, because if somebody is looking for a vibe that isn't just, again, that cookie cutter beauty spot, you also get the whole room to yourself. It's like
Yeah.
it's a whole private experience.
Well, and I think the main thing to take from it isn't necessarily make sure to stand out from everybody else, but it's to be true to yourself. And I think that was the point of why this worked out so well. Because for the first time in my life, I mean, there's stuff from my bedroom in here, there's personal stuff in here that made it true to me. But I just feel like there's so many people, especially in my industry, that aren't really true to themselves because they're trying too hard to fit the mold of what the industry expects from you. And when you do that, you kind of fall to the wayside. I mean, I've seen a lot of businesses, even in my salon suites, not do successfully because I feel like, again, people are looking for something unique, whether that be bright and loud. I know certain people have these little niches of like, one reads books and ties it into her sets and stuff. And I just feel like you got to be true to yourself. And that's how you do the best. And when you're true to yourself, people see that you are, you're real with your intentions. And so then you don't get the kind of disrespect or the pushback that you would working in like a corporation where it's just very much like in and out, turn and burn, give us your money. We don't care. It definitely changes the vibe when you come at this with your personality instead of society standards.
I love it. And I'm a big fan of not following the society standards. Let me tell you, I love it
No,
so
I mean,
much.
the standards are garbage anyways. They're garbage and they're outdated. So I feel like it's up to us as millennials to really kind of set the foot forward for the Gen Zers in being true to yourself. Because we have all seen our parents and our grandparents work these cubicle jobs for 40 to 60 years and hate their lives and retire and die 6 months later. And that's not my goal. That's not how I invest, you know. I I actually don't have health insurance. That is one of the downsides to the beauty industry. And in my epiphany before I started here, I was like, I don't just want to work here until the day I die. If I'm going to work anywhere until the day I die, I definitely want it to be in my own little happy safe space, you know.
100%. And you should enjoy what you do every day too. That's, I think, the overarching theme here is not only like lean in, follow your heart, just find a way to enjoy what you do. Even if you're not looking to start your own business, it's still work. It is still such hard work and it never stops. We talk about that all the time. You're still like editing reels or something at like 11 o'clock at night, and all you want to do is go to sleep. It's hard work, but if you find something that you truly enjoy and you have to go build it yourself, do that, because life is so damn short that you don't want to leave having those regrets. You don't want to work until you're 65 and die 6 months later, not having done a single thing that you enjoyed. You're just following what everybody else is doing.
So to actually kind of, cut into what you just said,
Yeah.
low-key hate the expression life is short, because in reality, to me, life is very, very long. Like if you think about it, most of us do live until like 80 years old. And when you start to break that down into seconds, it's a really long time. But I think that regret makes life feel short. Plain and simple, life only feels short when you look back in time and you're like, I wish I would have did this or that, and now I can't. There's something that my mom actually told me back during COVID, and it's kind of resonated with me ever since, because it was before I had moved from my corporation job to just another small business. And I was kind of complaining about how miserable I was, how unhappy I was, even though I had the benefits and the PTO and the 401k and all that. I wasn't happy. And I just remember her turning around, and it wasn't the first time she said it to me, but she was like, you know what, Ashley, you're gonna be unhappy at any job you work. Every job you work, you're gonna be unhappy at. Like, there's gonna be problems. And I hated that. I hated that expression so much, that thought process, because I'm like, I don't feel like you're trying hard enough. If you're constantly getting stuck in places that you hate, why are you going to keep doing it? Like, that's capitalism screaming at you to conform, you know? And when she said that to me, I was just like, no. So then I quit that corporate job and I went to a small business and I started to feel better, but I still ran into the same issues. It's working for other people. It's following the way other people want you to make their money for them. And I didn't want to do that either. I didn't feel like myself. And so, if my mom ever does watch this podcast, joke's on you, Mom. I haven't been unhappy at my job in like 15 months now, So I beg to differ with that statement. Not every job is going to make you miserable if you find a passion that makes you happy.
And I think that what you just said there too really speaks to generational differences as well, because
Yes.
we are comfortable to step outside and to challenge ourselves to be uncomfortable in order to get what we want. Because I've had a similar conversation with my mom too, where she said, something to the effect of like, well, it's just a job. We all have to have one.
Yep.
So find one that's reliable and that's secure, and you save up your money and then you retire, and
Yeah.
everyone's miserable at their job. I know she said that, like, no one likes their job or whatever. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, this was right before COVID happened, because I was just like, I still don't like being in a restaurant. Like, I had
Right.
worked my way all the way up to assistant general manager, and I was like, I still don't like it. And she's like, no one likes their job. And she and my management team just think I'm crazy, because I'm like, guys, this doesn't make sense to work 75, 80 hours a week. And they're
Right.
like, well, that's what we do. And I'm like, no, I'm so certain that there is a way to first of all, I still don't believe that restaurant managers should work that many hours. So if you're a restaurant manager listening, I see you and I am so sorry. Condolences to the amount of hours you have to work, because I don't think it's necessary. But I always believed, same as you, that it is possible to find something that you love to do. Even if you're just an employee, that's okay. But you have to keep trying and be willing to leave something that's seemingly more safe or secure in order to find what that is.
And, the fine print there would be, it's not all like, roses and butterflies on this side either, The joke is what, you traded a 9 to 5 to work 24/7. Like, I'm stressed, I think that the trade-off is I wanted my freedom and independence, but, the downside to that was it comes with more responsibility. It comes with more pressure. There is no safety net for me anymore. And I even had to change my policies a couple months ago to be able to protect myself because I'm a very empathetic person, and you start to let things slide. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, this isn't a hobby, you guys. Like if I don't succeed, I close down my doors and I don't reopen them. This isn't, it's just like any other business that goes out of business. Like I don't go, okay, just kidding, we'll move down the street and try this again, and I think, it's scary going out on your own and having that risk, but to me the reward is I'm happy. I feel free. I feel comfortable. Finally feel in control of my life. And to me, it's worth it. I wasn't going to have the benefits either way. So I'm like, screw it. I might as well make myself happy in the process.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. So for those people that want to connect with you, whether they want to reach out about maybe getting started in the industry, they've got questions for you, or maybe they just need to come and check out your vibe and get some of your services, how would they find you?
So I have a couple of Instagrams because I decided to, like a madman, separate my lashes and my nails, but I do it because it makes it easier for my clients to navigate. So Cosmic Hippie Beauty, that is the brand. You can find me. That is my main page. That is where like a majority of my information about my salon goes to. But my secondary account is Cosmic Hippie Lashes. And that account, she's a little bit of a wild child right now. There's definitely two different vibes going on my accounts currently. The lash account's definitely the fun one though, I have to admit. And I am taking new clients. So if anybody does need a reset, does need a place they can go to where they can actually just have a good experience, especially if they've had a bad experience, because I get those stories in my chair all the time. I am over off of Baseline and Stapley, right over by the 60 freeway and all the restaurants. And you can find me on Google and you can book. I have my whole year open. So if there's something special down the road that you need and you want a good vibe, I'm the girl for you. And the coaching program, I actually am doing this podcast today to hold myself accountable because I have only started the cover page right now. So I'm hoping to really, I don't see it being done by the end of January, but I'm hoping by the end of February, I will have everything solidified because I want to start helping people.
So if you are interested in that, send her a DM. She'll at least have hopefully a date for you. But if not, just at least let her know that you're ready and you're excited. And then maybe you can start like a wait list for them.
And honestly, I'm all down to talk. Like, talk to me now. I still give out a lot of free advice. So, I love helping people and I love seeing people succeed. So, shoot me a DM. You can find me on Google. You can send me an email. I put my face out there. It's pretty easy to find me nowadays. So,
and we'll make sure all of your contact information is in the show notes as well, so that they can just click and be taken straight to you. But
perfect.
Thank you so much for being here, Ashley. This was so fun. We'll have to do another one soon. I'm so excited for you and your new endeavor, and I can't wait to see what you do with Cosmic Hippie Beauty this year. It's a whole new year, a whole new set of goals.
I got a few things in the works. I was up until like 1 a.m. writing out ideas a couple nights ago. So, the idea train never ever stops. So I'm excited. I will be sharing those in the monthly emails. So yeah. Yay.
So also subscribe to her emails.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. Here. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I guess I'll see you soon. Thanks
for listening to another episode of the Rebel Rise podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and invite your friends to join us next week. This is your time. Now get out there and rise.